It is often said that life is a series of events where ages pass and seasons change. And months ago, the people of Nasarawa State witnessed the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter in the history of the solid mineral state. Hello and welcome to Nasarawa Focus. I am Tijesu Adeoye. On the show today, we take a look at Nasarawa State under Governor Abdullahi Sule as we highlight the achievements and reflect on the journey so far in the last 1 year. Welcome to the program.
Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule has commissioned the remodeled government house, a decision which, according to him, was informed by the desire to provide conducive working environment for in-house press crew. Commending the media for its objective reportage of the state government activities, the governor noted that the support from the media during the past 1 year has ensured that the people are adequately sensitized about the policies and programs of his administration.
I'm therefore delighted to address you on the occasion of this unveiling of the remodeled Government House Press Center here in Lafayette. Let me commend the gentlemen of the Fourth Estate of the Realm for the significant role you have continued to play towards dissemination of our policies and programs for the accelerated development of our dear state and the country at large. Indeed, your support in the last 1 year greatly assisted in the sensitization of our people, as well as bridging the information gap for public consumption.
What used to be a muddy, rough, bumpy ground is today this beautiful landscape you're all sitting on. What is very outstanding, but not uncommon to Engineer Abdullahi Sule, ladies and gentlemen, is that every kobo that went into the funding of this project comes from His Excellency's personal pocket. Your Excellency, we thank you immensely.
Engineer Sule warned that government will not condone undue sensationalism, even as he stressed that his administration is open to constructive criticism in the efforts to deliver on its mandates to the people of the states.
In June 2020, the Nasarawa State Government organized an entrepreneurial training for 150 women across the 13 local governments of the state.
And today, Your Excellency,
the training, which was done in collaboration with Be Innovation Integrated Limited, was aimed at empowering women to enable them to be self-reliant. They were trained on food processing, food packaging, bread making, cake making, and many more. They have successfully completed the training and are gathered here today to get startup grants to enable them commence their various trades. The state government is elated with the new skills acquired by the women.
At the beginning of the program, 150 women have been trained, and each one of these women will benefit from the state government by giving you 10,000 naira that you will have. I therefore charge the beneficiaries to make good judicious use of the grant to enable us realize the purpose for which it is meant for. As a result of that, I am making a personal commitment that in addition to the 10,000 naira given to you by the government, I will personally give another 10,000 naira to everyone.
You may wish to note that most of the material used for the productions are derived locally. As Oliver treats Your Excellency, we ask for more support to enable us train more women across the state.
Joyce Agidi is physically challenged and a mother of many children. She's glad and optimistic that the startup grant would improve her living condition.
I pray that I'm going to utilize my way in such a way that the governor, his name will be taken somewhere else, and for other women who are seeing me, they will also pray to get the opportunity too, so that they can embark on same business. I'll groom my family and groom others that are around me.
I learned how to make bread, cake, and Vaseline. That is a soap. I know how to make hand sanitizer. Right now, I have my hand sanitizer inside my bag.
Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule says the vision of his administration to produce first-class education for the citizens of the state will only be successful if issues hampering functional primary education are identified and solved. Engineer Sule stated this recently while delivering a speech during the opening ceremony of the third quarter delegates meeting of the Conference of Alumni Association of Nigerian Universities Kano, holding at the Nasarawa State University, Kefi. According to Engineer Sule, the state government can choose to continue building schools, but without qualified teachers, appropriate curriculum and a functional system, the level of education will continue to fall.
We have fundamental issues. If you don't have them in the nation, we have them in Nasarawa State. And I call on you to help us come together so that we will be able to build a first-class education in Nasarawa State. Once we are able to do that, we have solved part of our problems.
The governor also used the opportunity to restate the commitment of his administration to train unemployed graduates at the Lafia Technical Institute so they can become self-employed.
So the idea really is for me to go back also to some of our other people who were not so lucky to have the basis, already having degrees that cannot give them a job. So we decided to set up this technical institute, so that in that institute we'll now set up some technical shops like electrical installation, fitter machines, auto mechanics, tailoring, carpentry, welding, fabrication, air conditioning, refrigeration, radio mechanics, agricultural mechanization, and the rest of it. Once we are able to set them up, then these same people can go to such institutions, acquire the knowledge, become self-employed, and no longer a problem to their country.
While appreciating Kano for identifying him and others for the conferment of awards of excellence in education, Engineer Sule restated the commitment of his administration to support the Nasarawa State University, Kefi, towards making it a first-choice institution.
Nigeria recorded its first case of coronavirus on the 8th of February 2020. The novelty of the virus created fear in the minds of Nigerians who were uncertain of their fate. In order to contain the spread of the virus, the Nasarawa State Government designated the Dahatu Araf Specialist Hospital, DASH, in Lafia as one of the 2 centers in the state to isolate and treat patients who have contracted the disease. The hospital has so far treated 173 positive cases in its isolation unit with 0 deaths.
We had all sorts of equipment that we requested for, including ventilators provided by the government, including dialysis machines, all in preparation for the disease. And in terms of the structures on ground, we were able to make available within the hospital 110 beds. And most of the cases actually came here in the state. We have managed 173 cases so far with no death.
Musa Adamu is an aged man and a farmer. He is one of the lucky 173 survivors of coronavirus treated in the hospital.
I was brought in and I was taken to a room that was very comfortable, very isolated. I was alone and the facilities were there, toilet facility was there, the bedding, the feeding, everything. So it was excellent, and at each point I needed drugs. I was administered, and my BP was constantly taken. My temperature was constantly taken, because initially when I was brought, my temperature was so high.
Medical doctors who are frontline workers were also not spared by the virus. Evulaza Haruna is a medical doctor with the Dahatu Araf Specialist Hospital. He tells us how he got infected with the virus and how to be treated by his colleagues in the hospital.
Some few days after the Salah celebration, so I resumed work. So on getting home, I discovered I started having symptoms like malaria, headache, body pains, bum pains. So after I started anti-malaria, thinking it was malaria. So after a few days, and I noticed the fact that I wasn't perceiving smell, and I also lost my sense of taste. Plus the symptoms, the initial symptoms I was still having the initial symptoms. So I now told myself that something is off. Definitely this looking more likely like a COVID-19. So I informed my head of department, who eventually called the head of isolation center, Dr. Issa, and my samples were taken, and after 48 hours, the result turned out positive.
It is a public knowledge that the coronavirus has no specific cure. But how did the hospital achieve its zero death record?
Now, for those who have mild cases, treatment is just supportive. So what we did initially when we started here was that we're giving a regimen of combination of antivirals, lopinavir, ritonavir, and azithromycin with vitamins. But with time, we try to compare that regimen with just ordinary vitamins for severe cases, for mild cases. And we realized that it was almost the same thing. Giving vitamins for mild cases was okay, and probably giving paracetamol and all. But for severe cases, that's where the challenge is. Severe cases is where COVID is the kind of patient COVID kills. And before the landmark trial from the UK of the dexamethasone use, dexamethasone is actually a steroid that is used to reduce the inflammation. We're using hydrocortisone and we're giving Clexane. And these drugs, we're giving them for free.
The physicians attributed their success to the support they got from the state government in terms of provision of health workers' allowances, provision of adequate funds for treatment, and many other ways.
It was federal government that first made the pronouncement, but we paid ahead of federal government. So our health workers were well motivated, and it's one of the reasons why we didn't have any problem.
Located in north-central Nigeria, Nasarawa State was created in 1996 out of neighboring Plateau State and was known as the home of solid minerals. Upon becoming the governor of Nasarawa State, Engineer Abdullahi Sule set out to take the state to greater heights of economic growth and prosperity by exploring the potential in the mining sector. I understand that Nasarawa State has a mission and a vision, which is to be among the 3 top states in competitive states in Nigeria. To understand that Nasarawa State is also a home of solid minerals, how do you generate revenue from this critical sector?
The area of solid minerals is one that is being reviewed, both at the federal level and as well as the state. Part of the review is the reason that you saw the Minister of State for Solid Minerals and the Minister of Solid Minerals, both of them visiting us here in Lafia, coming to review that. We have met also with various communities where these minerals are held. Coincidentally, I just finished one of those meetings. We have also met with the companies that are operating in most of these communities within the state. So what we are looking at with the solid mineral is to see what value are we getting from it. We are identifying what solid minerals do we have in commercial quantity that will add value. We are identifying how to work with those areas, where the communities will be involved, the companies are involved, and the state government is also in the know of exactly what is happening. That is how we will generate our revenue. So the value that we are looking at is not necessarily on the taxes and the other kinds of revenue that we are generating, but on the value that is being added. For instance, how many people are we having employed? What is the plan for the reclamation of the land after the exploitation and the production of the solid minerals in those areas? A lot of the mining activities that will be carried about will bring about, some land degradation, some work that have been tampering with the topography of the area. So how will that reclamation be carried out? So we're looking at the MOUs that are being signed, between the companies and the communities.
We have been in Nasarawa State for the past 10 years.
With clear intentions and a sense of purpose, investors are beginning to align with Governor Abdullahi Sule's policy direction and take up corporate social responsibility
First is when we are coming into Nasarawa State, we make sure that we have a very robust and comprehensive community development agreement. Even before then, we have started improving the lives of the people around us. We give them employment, we grade the roads, we're doing boreholes, we're doing all those things. We're teaching them the techniques of mining.
Under Governor Abdullahi Sule, a new chapter is unfolding in the solid mineral state, where the mining sector is key for sustainable development, economic growth, revenue generation, and job creation.
Dubbed the home of solid minerals, Nasarawa State is blessed with natural resources spread across the 13 local government areas in the state. Nasarawa State also has agriculture as its mainstay of its economy, with the production of a variety of cash crops throughout the year.
We have a very fantastic soil. Most of the times you don't need fertilizer even when you're farming in Nasarawa State. There is really good soil to farm sugarcane, cassava, rice in abundance and in commercial quantity.
So we have gone into policies that will ensure food sustainability, food production, and also self-reliance and self-sufficiency. And this is why we are also asking some multinational agribusiness corporations like Olam, like Asma, and so on to come into the state to invest heavily. We have also attracted the Dangote Group, the flour mill of Nigeria. We are also in talk with them to come and invest heavily in the agricultural sector, not only to ensure mass food supply for our people, but to also create job opportunities for our people.
To this end, Nasarawa State Government is supporting farmers to ensure there is food production in the state throughout the year.
We gathered here today to flag off the sale of 930 metric tons, which is 18,600 bags of NPK 20-10-10 fertilizer for the year 2020 season, which will be sold to our farmers at a subsidized rate of 5,000 naira only per bag. I therefore charge the beneficiaries to ensure judicious use of the commodity to increase our yields.
In 2019, the Nigeria Incentive-Based Risk-Sharing System for Agricultural Lending, a subsidiary of the Central Bank of Nigeria, entered into partnership with the Nasarawa State Government to boost agro-business in the state. According to Governor Abdullahi Sule, the aim is to facilitate agro-business financing for farmers and others in the agricultural value chain. Governor Abdullahi Sule is revitalizing agriculture by identifying the missing links, connecting the value chains, and adopting solutions to increase food production and sustain the people of Nasarawa State.
We understand that the state specialist hospital is currently undergoing a transition period. That is transitioning from being just a specialist hospital into a teaching hospital. So speak to us more about this transition period. What is the vision? What is that ending point? What should we look to see at the end of the day?
Well, number one thing is actually to see improvement in service being provided. You know, the essence of it started as a very small hospital, then expanded into a specialist hospital, and today we are looking at it going into a teaching hospital. The former administration of Tonko Almakura has done a lot by improving, one, the number of beds that will be at that hospital. They added about 200 beds to whatever we had in the past. Then the number of various units of what to do. No new equipment are being supplied, so now we are looking at areas for dental care, areas actually for oncology, that has been areas for cancer treatment, and areas. So all these are areas that are being added, so when the teaching hospital comes up, more and more will be added. So what we are trying to do is that we are expanding both in the structures that are being added and the equipment that will be added and other facilities, and number of staffing, the competent people that are going to have. So the specialists that are going to come to the hospital in the various areas that we didn't have are also increasing.
So those will be the benefits.
So how is this going to also ensure the quality of healthcare that the citizens of Nasarawa State get from this facility?
By bringing the competent specialist doctors that are going to come from various areas that I had mentioned. One, for instance, children's section, so the pediatrists that are going to be there. Then the area of the dental care that we are also introducing to make sure that we have the right kind of dentists, qualified dentists that are there with the right equipment that they require. The area of cancer treatment, again, that we have mentioned. There is a new area for research actually that is also being added, to be able to take care of then the everyday illnesses, such as malaria and the rest of that. We refer them, and or especially those who treat the pregnant women, we refer them mostly to the primary healthcare clinics that we have all over the places.
Nasarawa State Health Insurance Scheme, we understand also that has been running for like a year now. Can you break down to us what is government's input, or the state government's input rather, in this scheme?
Well, the state government is, the state government has bought into the idea of ensuring that every citizen should have insurance, in the healthcare unit. The state government has enacted the law in establishing that. The state government has also employed the new people that will manage the agency. And funds were provided, including the funds for the startup, establishing the office, and the rest of that. So the state government has done all the initial takeoff at the moment, and the insurance registration has commenced. So by the time we get everybody on board, then the whole idea is to ensure that in the state, nobody is denied, service, healthcare as a result of maybe lack of funds or so. So the insurance is paid for that person, and the insurance will be provided.
Let's speak on the SDGs. That's your Sustainable Development Goals for Nasarawa State. Can you let us into that?
Well, as you know, the SDGs is an initiative of the United Nations. And there are 17 or 18 goals. The most important aspect of the goals is to ensure that we reduce poverty, which is something that is very peculiar in this part of the country. We eradicate poverty as a result of that. Eradicate poverty, improve issue of inequality in the land, empower youth and women, and ensuring that they are doing that. Improve aspect of agriculture for food self-sufficiency, which is something that is being driven, and all the other categories. Roughly, as I said, almost about 17 or 18 are categories. So each one is being taken at a time. The one we have just mentioned about healthcare is also one of them, to ensure that people have availability, of healthcare provision for every one of them. So education and the rest of that. So we are following up in each one of these, and we are ensuring that the best. That is what government is all about anyway. Government is about providing good education, good healthcare facilities, and good healthcare provision for the people, ensuring that providing employment, reducing poverty, and the rest of that. So that is what SDG is all about, and that is what we are doing.
So are we going to see a case whereby there will be more involvement of the private sector also involved in this program?
The private sector is always involved, especially in and in each one of these categories you touch, the private sector is involved, especially in states such as ours. When private sector comes in and provide employment and provide education, provide the industrialization and the rest of that, they are indirectly actually reducing poverty, improving security, because people who are secured, sometimes are not interested in going to start committing one kind of crime or the other. In the area of the employment, just like the government does, the private sector also will look at capacities and competencies of people, They employ certain number of men, certain number of women. So, and then people with disability are also given the opportunities to fill out certain positions. That is the area of the inequality also comes in. So private sector has a very, very key role to play, in ensuring that SDG is established, accomplished.
And that's all for today on Nasarawa Focus. Do join us next time. Always remember, Nasarawa means business.